Hey everybody, byscreenside here today, bringing you a speed build. Today's build is called Sable Modern. It is a 40 by 30 lot in Oasis Springs. It is 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, and winds up costing about 177,000 simoleons. That's rounded up from about 176.7, I believe it is. So it's actually not badly priced for as much stuff as you get in this build. It's pretty cool. I really spent a long time detailing this build and focused on it, making it the best house that I could because I don't do modern very often, so I want to do it well when I do it, when I take the time to actually do it, because modern is not my forte. It's something I can do, but I don't do very often because I tend to prefer traditional. And you're always just sort of better at things that you enjoy a little bit more. At least I think that's the case for me, but I think it's the case for most people. If you enjoy something, obviously you're going to be better at it than something you don't enjoy as much because you won't want to do it as much. Uh, so thinking and logic, it's actually, I just woke up and my coffee is just now starting to kick in. And I already recorded this voiceover once and it just didn't take my voice. I don't know what happened. So, of course, that means I'm going to be confused because I don't know what I've already said. But hey, you know what? We'll go through it and we'll get through it together as a family. And I did have to split this up into two parts because it took me about 4 hours to build this, and I didn't want to have a 40-minute video. So I did split this up into two parts. And it's not really interior exterior because I just didn't do the build this way. Like um, start off with the exterior. Of course, right now I'm working out the shape of the build and what I want it to look like. And then, I don't do the actual landscaping on the exterior until the latter half of the build. But it did take so long because I spent a really, really long time detailing out the rooms and making sure that your Sims were going to have lots of skill building items and options for things to do around this great big house. The bedrooms are themed for teen boy and young girl, and then of course like a master bedroom for 1 to 2 Sims. So that's what you can expect in terms of decor for the rooms. But of course, you can always take this house and decorate it the way you want to. It is up on the gallery now, so I don't have screenshots in this first part. But if you are dying to see what the completed um, build looks like, then you can go download it into your game already, and I will put a link in the description below, of course. So, sorry if you hear any like random weird noises. I've got my neighbors being kind of loud and active today, and then also my boyfriend is home and he's under the weather, so he might get a little bit of like coughing sounds or something. If you hear anything and you're not sure what it is, that's probably what it is. So this build has in terms of the skill items and stuff to do on the lot. There's a video gaming rig, there's pumpkin carving, there's an easel, pool, hot tub, massage table, yoga mat, meditation stool, several computers, there's the Void Critter game, weightlifting machine. So tons and tons and tons and tons of stuff for your Sims to do, and I really wanted it that way. Um, it's really easy to forget skill items when you're building, and I don't think that I'm alone in being guilty of this as a builder because a lot of the things that I've downloaded from the gallery or seen other YouTubers build, um, usually there's a handful of skill items, but not. And I mean, by no means does this have every skill item in the game. I didn't use like the giant ugly observatory or anything like that. Um, But there is still quite a lot. Oh, I think I forgot. There's also a chessboard. I think I left that off my list. So yeah, there's tons of stuff to do. So your Sims aren't having to leave a lot to do things, and that was my goal to make sure that if I'm going to build a house this big, it's going to have lots and lots of goodies in it for you. So in this build, there are two rooms that are particular favorites that you actually do see in part one. But it's by no means only my favorite things are in part one. There's also some other really cool stuff. Most of the interior is in part two, of course. But yeah, anyway. Wee. So yeah, that's what happens when you record once and then you have to re-record. You forget what you said the first time around, and who even knows? Woo. Oh man. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. So definitely talked about the things that I'm looking forward to in the City Living expansion pack. It's getting to the point where, for me personally, like I don't want to build as much because I've now seen the content that's coming out in the new stuff pack. Expansion pack. I keep saying that. I'm like game pack, stuff pack. I don't know what's happening. Yeah, but I know some of the content that we're going to be getting, and so I'm ready to use that in my game already. If you haven't seen the most recent stream, well, I think it's the most recent stream at this point. Like news is coming out so quickly about the pack that it's like I'm seeing like I'll have missed things. So I don't think I even noticed the stream with Sim Guru Romeo and Sim Guru Jill. But I just saw it. I think they did that on the third or the fourth. I'm not sure. But they showed a ton of content in that stream. So they went over a lot of the build and buy items that we're going to be getting. So now that I've seen what we're going to be getting for build and buy stuff, it's making me wanting to kind of hold out and or making me want to kind of hold out for the new content. But, you know, gotta build. Gotta get those builds out and done. So I'm not gonna wait, but part of me wants to wait a little bit just to see or just to get like some of the new content out. Like one of the builds that I've done and should be up this week is a park. And I really wanted some of those food carts that we're going to be getting with the City Living expansion pack in the park that I did. I was like, oh, it would be perfect if we had like a concession stand or something. And then I realized, oh, we're going to have like these really great food carts in the game soon, but not yet. Can't wait. Not yet though. It was something that they talked about in the City Living stream that made me so incredibly happy, like unreasonably happy. But they were showing there's gonna be like the spray paint like tagging and murals with spray paint in City Living, and they were showing the mural item. Oh, quick side note. This is a brown and white build, but because Oasis Springs, um, because of like, I guess the color in the town, whenever it's afternoon, it looks beige and brown, but it actually really is white and brown. So if you put it elsewhere in the world, and you can tell right now in the evening light, it's more white than beige. But yeah, anyway. So, Sim Guru Joel and Sim Guru Romeo were showing off the mural items, and Sim Guru Joel mentioned how difficult it is to say the word mural. And seriously, that made me incredibly happy because I've talked about this in one of my other build videos. I think it was the rustic gray build because I did it in what I interpret to be like a really rural part of Windenburg. She was saying like how hard it is to say the word mural, and I talked about how hard it is to say the word rural for me in that video. And so I was like, yes, thank you, somebody else understands how hard it is. Why have words that are so hard to say? They need to come up with better words than rural or mural because they really are hard to say. I- I'm just so excited that it's not just me because I really do think that I don't know that word's really hard to say. So yeah, I was happy to see that we had that in common. But yeah, I'm really excited for the those murals, and I'm excited for gosh, so much. One question I have: we still don't know if there are any new life states, which I talked about in the Nautilus landing speed build video. So that's something I need to just tweet these things. I need to tweet these questions out. I just keep forgetting because I want to know about the new life state. And now I want to know, it hasn't been mentioned yet, as far as I know, if there are any new woohoo spots because I was thinking about how many like different places we have in the game that our Sims can woohoo because they're actually quite a few that came with the base game that I like don't think about whenever I'm thinking of like woohoo spots that we have in the game because like I always forget like Sims can woohoo in the observatory and they can also woohoo in a rocket and I tend to forget about those because I was thinking about how many places in this particular build because there's a hot tub, there is beds, of course, and closets. I think that's it. I don't think I put in a woohoo bush in this. No, I didn't. But yeah, that's for some reason I was thinking about places Sims woohoo because these are important things to have on one's mind. Absolutely. But I really, really am happy with the way that this build turned out. I think it's there, particularly the hot tub area and the sort of creative room are just two of my favorite rooms that I've ever built ever. Not just in this build, but at all. So yeah, I was really happy with the way it turned out. And this build has been fully play tested. Um, Playtesting, ever since they added the welcome wagon to the game, playtesting has taken on like a whole new uh, amount of, for lack of a better word, kind of hassle because you get in there and you start testing out items. Can they cook? Can they reach this? Can they get that? And then the welcome wagon comes over and it turns into a thing. And I just can't be like, cancel the event and be rude to the neighbors. No, I totally can. I've done that on many occasions. Uh, these windows, while I don't think like I think these windows can get a little bit busy with the slats across them, but with the way it brings in light, they're totally worth it. I love the way that like the light is so specific to the windows in the game. I talk about it a lot, but I'm still incredibly impressed with the lighting update that we got in the game. It's been a while now, of course, it's been in the game, but it's it's just so impressive, and it really makes um, builds and rooms and interiors look just so much. They just look so amazing with like different lighting, and so I love the way that these windows that I believe came with Spa Day with like the slats in them cast light into the rooms. So I used solid and striped. We'll say striped. I know it's not technically striped, but I used both solids and striped windows because I think that it can get a little bit too much to use just those windows, but with a mixture of them, I think it turned out looking really nicely. And I know modern builds are really popular. I mean, I can tell that just from not only how many views like my modern builds get versus my more traditional builds, but also downloads in the gallery. My most popular download is still a modern build that I built called Tranquil Modern in Newcrest whenever Newcrest came out. So it's been a while. I should redo that build or do some other version of it since it does seem to be like the favorite among my builds, in, at least in the gallery. Of course, it's been up for longer than some of my other ones, but still. I put the hot tub into the foundation to give it an in-ground hot tub look, and it does work. I saw that somewhere where it wasn't. I didn't realize that that would work. It never occurred to me that that would work until I saw it somewhere else. And I was like, oh, I have to do that. Because I was really disappointed actually when the patio stuff pack came out and none of the hot tub versions that we got were in-ground hot tub versions. I really prefer them, and I think it would have been nice to have that because you can kind of, if it's in ground, you can kind of like build rocks and stuff up around it to make it like look more of like a natural like hot spring hot tub kind of thing. So that would be super lovely to have in the game, an in-ground hot tub option. I don't know if we'll ever get any new hot tub styles because I imagine that they consider that content covered. Um, but I still hold out hope that we'll get a hot tub that's already just in ground without having to finagle it with the move objects cheat that way, because I tested it with one sim and it worked, and then when I also tested it with multiple sims, and like not every sim could get in there. So like maybe if it's in your household and you're not, what I did was there were sims over at the house and I just um, made a group and selected get in together. So if it's a sim that you're actually controlling, it might work out better. But when I just invited sims to the hot tub, there were maybe like 5 sims there and only like 3 could get into the hot tub without getting like confused because of the way that they're basically it's built into the ground with like a set of stairs to get into the hot tub, and it works, but like some of the sims get confused. So I don't know if it works a little bit better if you're controlling the sim. Probably it would be easier to do that rather than just inviting sims to join. Of course, you got to have a pool. That's what I'm adding in now. And the steam grates from Get Together. I don't think I've built a pool without those ever since we got those. I really think that that is cool. I'd love to have some more items like the cracks and grates from the pool that like give off effects like that similarly. Like there's like from the spooky stuff pack, there's a yard decoration that looks like graves that gives out like a fog. But I'd love to have some item that like generates butterflies or fireflies or something like that. Maybe that's something that we would get down the line with, like maybe like a supernatural pack or something like that, to give off like sort of like fireflies or interesting glows or things like that. This room that I'm getting ready to start building here in a moment is my favorite in the build. I also, yeah, stuck this little wind chime from the backyard. I love that item. It is so pleasant to listen to. That is one of the cooler ideas that I think the Sim Gurus have given us. But this room back here is the one that I was referring to as my favorite one in the build. I used this did this sort of design in the wood using different wood textures. And I've done this before with rugs, but I haven't done it with wood. And I believe it was a build that Hatsy did, if I'm not mistaken, where she did this in like a dining room or a kitchen. And I was like, that's really beautiful. I want to do like a version of that because I really love the like wood details like that in reality. And so I think it gives a really cool character and flavor to that room, and it just looks so gorgeous with the lighting hitting it again. You can't quite tell. This is like a video gaming rig room, by the way, that I'm starting there. It does wind up a little bit different, which you'll see in part 2. But yeah, once all these items go down into this room, it turns out so pretty. I want this room in a real house for myself in reality. Um, I love it. So yeah, and this room has an easel in it and a pumpkin carving station. I really think the pumpkin carving station just looks sort of like a craft desk. Um, so I think I know it's kind of weird like to have a pumpkin carving station in the middle of the house, but I think it just sort of looks like a craft area when your Sims aren't using it. So yeah, lighting, blah, 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 can't even talk about it. Really love it. It's a little bit dark on this screen too. It's kind of hard to see what's going on. But yeah, I love that little plumb bob painting too. Yeah, we're actually getting ready to come up on the end of part 1. Sorry that there aren't any screenshots, but again, you can go and download this if you just can't wait to see what the rest of the interior look like. She's okay. But anyway, there will be screenshots in part 2, which will be up very soon. And if you're new to the channel, there are also Let's Plays that I've been doing. So we've got a Halloween Let's Play going on called The Ghost in the Attic. And it is about some Sims that are trapped in a house with an angry ghost. And then also the 100 Baby Challenge, which is a popular challenge, but it's my first time playing it, so it has been a lot of fun. So yeah, those are some other things to check out. Thank you for any comments, likes, and subscribes, and I will see you next time. Bye!